to Open Vibes with your host, Denmika Eugene. Good evening, and welcome back to Open Vibes. We are in a new season, it's a new day, and we are moving forward. I am so grateful for this Queen's edition of Open Vibes. Welcome, 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 ladies. I am so excited to have you. So, let me introduce our panel of ladies tonight, our panel of authors and life coaches and mothers and women of good success. So tonight we have Miss Portia. We're going to call her Coach Portia or Coach P. Pronounce your last name for us.
Mokenaka.
I love it. Wokenaka. Yes, yes. She is an author and a professional life coach. She specializes in self-love and relationships. Next, we have Miss Shatori Jackson. She's an author and founder of Magnificence. I posted it on my page already, so that link is definitely there. She is the CEO of Magnificence. We have Miss Tanya S. McClurkin. She is a two-time author and a highly sought-after life coach, you guys. And we have Miss Tangi Bailey, aka Fluffy Girl, author and CEO of Fluffy Girl Joy. It's already posted on my page. Go ahead and check her out, you guys. Check her out. So I'm going to just start right off the bat and jump into the questions. How did this collaboration come about, and who sparked this idea? How did this come about, ladies?
Well, definitely shout out to I am Ebony Davis. She reached out to us. For me personally, she's been watching my journey to joy, my journey to self-love, and she just put it in my head. Hey, sis, you need to put it on paper. And I'm like, what? Like, that's an honor, because she knew me when I was in my darkness. And for her to want to see the light on paper under her umbrella is just the best feeling ever.
Excellent. And Miss Ebony D, I thank you, because she sent these ladies my way. And Ebony D, she has an interview as well on Roku and on Open Vibes. Phenomenal woman of God. Thank you, Ebony. All right. So were you all friends prior to this journey, or is this a new collaboration? Did you discover a sisterhood along the way? How did that go?
It's definitely a new collaboration. I'm just meeting all these beautiful ladies and getting to know each and every one of them throughout this journey. So yes, it's definitely a new sisterhood. I'm so grateful to be a part of this journey with them all.
Excellent. So somebody tell us the title and the name of the book.
She said yes.
She said yes. That's the gist of it.
We said yes to self-love.
Yes.
Okay. Journey to self-love. We said yes. And mean that thing.
Absolutely love it. Love it. All right. So let me start with Miss Tanya. When did you know that helping women was your area of ministry? That was your path?
Ooh, absolutely. Honestly, 3 years ago, 2018, I was a part of a MLM, a different business. Honestly, one day I woke up to write my list of names of people I was going to contact, because you know that's what they teach you to do. And one day I came into this office right here to sit down. I grabbed my pen, and the pen just wasn't right. And in that moment, I said, God, I don't want this anymore. I'm tired of looking for the next best thing. I'm tired of jumping from thing to thing. And I know I'm doing that because I'm searching for something. And so once I began to open that door, really laying out what I didn't want, it opened the door for what I did. And so he began to take me on my own journey. And I began to really seek out who I was. Like we all like to, ask that question, who am I? Why do I exist? What is my place, my purpose in this world? I think we all kind of go through that. And I went through mine in 2018. And I just began to write down things I knew about myself, and I felt very lost. And long story short, he led me into life coaching, which in the beginning I thought that was the gift, but it was for me. And later he said that it wasn't the gift, it was the vehicle.
Wow.
I needed to use it to lead you to where I'm going. You needed this information. You needed to know more about me. You needed to know more about life principles. You needed to know more about just God in general. And I began to say to God, I want to know you differently. I want to love you differently. Because what I know about you, I've always known about you from a young girl because I grew up in the church. But I felt like the God that I serve and the God I see everybody around me serving and how they talk about this great big God, I said, you know what? I don't aspire to be like anybody that serves God. I don't aspire to be like anyone in the church. I don't aspire to be like people around me. I said, there's something wrong with this picture. Because this great big God we're talking about, my life is not a match. And so when I began to own that truth, that my life was not a match, I said, there's really something wrong with the way I know God. I don't know enough about you because I'm not doing the things that really cause my life to come into alignment with what you know about me. And so when I began to go through this journey, in 2018, I went through my life coaching program, flew to California, trained with hundreds of coaches, came back with a certificate, and I just began the journey of, I want women to know more because there's more to know. I want women to know because now I knew what both sides of the spectrum look like, what it looked like to be lost, and what it looked like to really understand the truth about what God knew about you. And we know God, but there's a disconnect. And he began to show me that even though you love God, there's a lot you don't trust about what he can do. And so when he began to show me the disconnect, I grew a love for wanting to really help women understand something I had found out. And so I said, long story short, so let me keep it short.
Okay.
And so that's really what led me down this journey. There are women who desire more than motherhood. And motherhood may feel like your biggest accomplishment. It may feel like you're stuck in motherhood. It may feel like, that's all you know. But there's something that God put you specifically here. He gave me a quote, and I'll end with it. He said, I designed you with motherhood in mind, but I have much more in mind for you as a mother.
Praise God. Wow. Excellent. All right. So, Coach Portia,
Yes, ma'am.
when did you know that this was your journey? The women, the relationships, inspiring people to the next level.
When when the pandemic happened. When the pandemic happened, I found myself like, okay, Lord, what am I supposed to be doing? Yes, I had a job, unfortunately, but fortunately, I didn't go through with most, went through as far as when the pandemic first hit, but I was going through a transition of what am I supposed to be doing for Portia? We all know, okay, we got jobs to make money and stuff like that, but what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And I didn't even know that you could become a life coach and actually coach and help other people, because one of my other specialty is healing as well. So self-love and healing and relationships are the three things that I talk about the most, but mainly self-love and healing.
Yes.
And that's where I am right now.
I love
self-love and healing, because God pretty much told me that I need you, Portia, to seek me so that you can find yourself.
Amen.
Because if you don't know me, you're not going to be able to know yourself, because I created you. I know all of the hairs that are on your head. I created you to be fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't know that because you have not sought me. So I need you to seek me first so I can show you who you are, so I can go have you help my other daughters.
That's it.
So in a nutshell, that's pretty much what you sat down and
I absolutely love it. I'm loving it, ladies. All right, Miss Jackson.
The way I came about it was an accident. Honestly, you know how when God gives you something and it's innate, it's something you just flow in and you do it naturally, and nobody told you to do it. I found myself, you know, in a 9 to 5. And the women, I would just like, if they would tell me anything, I would go before the Lord in prayer for them. I would come back the next day and I'm like, girl, listen, here's what you need to do, okay? Because you ain't living to your fullest potential. And I would just lay it all out, not understanding that they would jump off of whatever course they were on and begin to do whatever the Lord told me to tell them to do. And they would be like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I could do it until I talked to you. I was scared. I was intimidated. I didn't think I was good enough or this or that. And it's like, I would be on both sides telling them they could do it. And then when they do it, I'm like, yes, girl, high five, girl, you doing it, you killing it. And it just came natural. And it wasn't until I did that for a couple of years that my husband was like, babe, I don't think it's coincidental that you keep going in these cycles and you keep, you know, you're always pouring into women. And I'm like, you know, you owe to something because, you know, I didn't really notice it till you said, and then different people would begin to tell me like, you know, because you poured into me, I felt good enough to do it. I didn't feel good enough until you pushed me into this thing. And it was like, oh Lord, okay, this is a thing. Like I thought I was just being encouraging, but this is an actual thing.
Come on.
And so I didn't find out that this is something that I should consciously pursue. Probably not until about 3 years ago, like right before I conceived my daughter, which is interesting that I'm saying that out loud now. He gave me a girl after I figured it out, but it was an accidental thing that just, it comes natural to me to say, girl, you look good. You got this. You can do it. Go get it. You ain't gonna get it from this corner. You better get out this corner. You better go do it. You better go kill it. You better conquer it. You got it. It comes natural. And so that's how I fell into it. But you know, God is never taken by surprise. He put me in it. And I just found out late. That's what happened.
Exactly. All right, Miss Tangi.
Hey, same thing. It's by accident. I'm still trying to grasp that I am a coach, a vibe coach. I years ago I was in darkness. I was in a dark marriage. My best friend, but he was dealing with addiction, and I still had the babies and I needed out. So I got out. Okay. I got out and I was just trying to find my happy. That was all I was doing. I'm just living my life, you know. I was well over 400 pounds. I was just miserable. I just thought all I was going to be was a mother and a state worker. Literally that specific. That's it. That's all I thought I was going to do. But something, you know, clicked in me, and I got over the church hurt, and got over the marriage hurt, and got over the self hurt. And I started going to the journey to happy. I was going to be okay with just happy. I started walking, and I started daily posting my walks with my friends, and Fluffy Girl Files started. It was for Fluffy Girl Files at first. And I was just for accountability, just setting the mood and walking and just telling my thoughts. And people were holding me accountable. Hey, what's up? Like, you didn't post today. What's going on? Oh, okay. I really got to do this thing, right? And then I started finding myself. I started loving myself. I started liking myself. I had to forgive myself, right? For all the choices, the things I chose. Because I can't blame it on the hubby. It's things I chose to stick in, right? So I continue with this journey, and happiness, Fluffy Girl emerged from that. Fluffy Girl, just Fluffy Girl in general. And then happy comes and goes, but that joy came. I'm like, wait a minute, wait, joy stays with you. Oh, wait a minute. It became more than just a daily walk. It became Mission Mondays, because Mondays are my favorite day of the week. Yes. You set the tone, you set your emotional tone for the week, right?
Come on, woman of God.
You do, you said it. And Mondays I'm hyped. And my job, they're like, so calm down. I'm like, no, let's do this thing. So every day I was being intentional, and I'm posting it, not for the likes, for myself, right? So I'm posting it, and people are like grasping, and people are like, I'm thinking of days differently. I'm thinking of my minutes differently. Wow. So they're holding me accountable. So I have to hold myself accountable. And so now this self-love journey, people are wanting it and grasping for it and requesting it. Like I get texts daily. What should I do? What should I say? I just want people to think great. So now Fluffy Girl Joy is here, and I'm spreading that joy, and I mean that joy.
Yeah.
Just mean everything that I say and do intentionally. Every day I live with purpose. And a lot of that comes from being extra selfish. Everything is for me. Okay. Everything. I'm not raising these beautiful, joyous, fluffy girl daughters of mine just for them. I don't want to be fighting with you. I don't want to yell all day. I want you to skip when you walk.
Ooh, child.
Okay. I'm choosing a job that I love for me because I want to wake up and get dressed and feel cool.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I'm choosing every day to be joyous because I want to go to bed cool. I want to,
girl, I know right where you are.
Come on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Selfish. So it's just about being selfish. I'm in the selfish stage in the best way. And I love it.
Wow. And it's crucial that these days we command and demand our joy.
Come on.
Present, to be in abundance, because we have a job to do as women. And one thing I've come to realize, is the job is 24/7. It's 24/7 because when those other women, and you know what, I want to take a minute to say, God is so amazing because to be on assignment for God, and then to recognize you're on assignment for God, and then to activate the assignment for God. Those are different levels that you have to come to. And for you ladies to be in that place and in that space, I just commend you on activating it, because there's so many people who are saying, I wish I could, I want to, I just don't know how to. And we're those vessels to say, yes, you can, because if I can,
come on.
I really commend you ladies on activating the book, and Ebony being the catalyst to push you forward to She Said Yes, because she's saying yes to what we say yes to so many things in this world. But what are we saying yes to now, knowing that life is short, time is limited, we have so much work to do? What are we saying yes to now? So let's break that down, and what does that look like? And let's get a little bit into the book and those moments when you had to identify, I had to say yes to this in order for me to move away from that. So who wants to open that up?
Well, hey, I don't mind. Hey, look, I say yes. For me, self-love is literally saying yes to myself. It's saying yes to all the decisions that I make. Anything that I choose, I'm saying yes for myself. Okay. So I have to, again, be intentional with everything, be selfish in everything. And it's being self-aware of anything that I need to work on, and fixing that to be great. So I'm saying yes to being great. I'm also saying yes to the word no, because it's okay to say no. that no is a yes for you.
Right.
So I'm saying yes to just greatness. And again, it's daily, it's minute by minute. I'm better than I was just a minute ago. So just saying yes all the time to myself, for my self-love. I'm saying yes all the time.
Beautiful. Come on, Coach P. Come on.
So I'm saying yes to me, because throughout my years, I've always said no to me and said yes to somebody else. It's always been, okay, well, your needs are more important, so I'm gonna make sure that you have what you need, and then I put myself on the back burner. But now I'm just like, no, I'm saying yes to Portia. She matters. Her voice matters. Her small head matters. Her cheeks matter. Her mouth matters. Everything, it matters. So I decided to say yes to me, yes to healing, yes to self-love, and yes to a future relationship with a human man, but yes to a now relationship with God.
Lord. Let's rewind a little bit, Coach P. Let's rewind and let's talk about, those moments prior to you saying yes and identifying that. Let's break that down. What was that looking like for you?
lost completely.
Mhm.
Lost, searching, not knowing where to go. Just not being able to, I'm waking up like, okay, why am I here?
Mm.
Why don't I just, off myself right now? I don't understand why I continue to wake up and I'm not fulfilled. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Yeah, I'm going to work. Yeah, I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, but there's no joy out of this.
Mhm.
So that's that's how it was for me.
Mhm.
Completely lost.
So there was moments in being lost, and when
Mhm.
you're lost, you feel like people can't see you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No one can see me. No one can identify this hurt that I feel, and it's abundant and it's overwhelming. And I think most people, when they see the joy and you on the other side, their minds can't even comprehend that she once felt like me.
Mhm.
She once was in my shoes. And this is good, and understanding that we have so many young women,
Mhm.
young
Yeah.
mothers who don't even know that they have purpose, who can't identify, so what were some of the steps that you took to come into your yes season?
So some of the steps that I took, I watched while I was sitting in 2020. I binge watched Tony Gaskins. A friend of mine told me about him, and I was just like, she asked me, she was just like, "Do you know about Tony Gaskins? Or have you watched any of his videos?" I was just like, "No, who is that?" And she was just like, "Oh, he's a author and a life coach." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So when I started watching his videos, I was just like, "This man, real for real, for real. Like
Yeah.
he ain't for play. He for real about everything that he's saying." And I felt his spirit. And I was just like, man, it's awesome to be able to see someone who is literally living for God. He's living his purpose.
Yes.
Not, oh, I have a job. This is what I went to school for. No, I'm making what I need to make from God blessing me, from me doing his work.
Yes.
And that spoke volumes to me. And it had me in search of like, okay, Portia, you naturally encourage people. I've always done that, even since I was a child. I always kept a smile on my face, everything, but no one knew the demons that I had to deal with because they never saw it. So during that time, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do what I need to do for me. And I cleared house. When I say I cleared house, I cleared house. Everybody that meant not well for me, I let them go. Change my phone number, everything, because I'm like, I'm finding Portia. It was almost as if I was in I guess a cave, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm coming out. No more
Let's
fear.
rewind right there when you cleaned house. Did God give you a formula for that? Because these are seasons. Some of the seasons I've walked through, I ain't walked through everything, but the more I walk through, the more I realize I don't know. But just let's talk about the formula for cleaning house, because there's so many people who are in that phase. And what does that look like?
We already know what we need to do, but we just afraid to do it. Most of the time, we already know because we don't want to let go because of fear. I knew I needed to let go of certain people that I was talking to, but I didn't want to because I was just like, oh, well, those are my friends and they love me and they care about me, when I know deep down inside that they were selfish. Right. You know good and well that they don't really care about you like that. Let them go. Because they're not doing nothing but being a mask. You need to take off that mask, let them go so you can see you. So during that time, God just started revealing to me, like, this person is not your friend. This person don't mean you know well. Like, I done told you this already. There's warning before destruction. This happened because you did not listen. Like, just as simple as
the foundation of the situation. What is the foundation of the relationship?
Right.
And that helps me identify where to place that person in my life or all the way out of my life. If there's no foundation, if it's not built on Christ, or I can't restructure it, at least.
Mhm.
because like we're moving into she said yes season, and I need the road clear.
Come on.
Mhm.
I had
Yeah.
to cold turkey. You
Yeah.
got to cold turkey some things. You
Yeah.
can't wean off. I was weaning for 16 years with my ex. I had to cold turkey that mug
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
and
For
get
real.
out.
That's
And
it.
get out. And
That's
then when I cold turkey that, I had to let people in as well. My squad, my best friends, all my people who are the foundation of Fluffy Girl, who you know, I'm hiding things from them. I'm hiding things from myself. I'm masking and just presenting, you know. I'm presenting. So now I'm in a place where everything I present, I'm really living. I'm walking that talk. Because I have to let people in so that they can call a call to arms for my squad. I needed help with the kids. I needed help with myself. I didn't want to live, but I needed to see what I'm living for. And my squad they're responsible for that. So I'm not going to cold turkey them, but I did have to cold turkey the darkness. I had to cold turkey, unfortunately, my ex. And now we're the best of friends.
Love it.
Best co-parent ever.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. So Miss Shatori, what is your shifting into she says yes looks like?
You know, I was young at the time. I was 17. So it's layered. It's a layered thing. It's not a simple, straightforward thing. But I could say that what got me to the point where I needed to say yes was seeing all of the relationships, like in my family structure, like the romantic relationships, how those were built, and how they weren't the greatest, and how that taught me what to expect when I went to school and when I went out into the real world and stuff like that. And when I got to school, how they treated me there validated how I seen other women being treated growing up. So it was like, oh, so girls that look like me are not valuable. That was the problem. And I started that thinking at such a young age. So by the time that I got to 17, I was having what changed everything, what pivoted everything. I had a negative encounter with a peer, a gentleman, and he was saying all kind of crazy stuff, and it was over the phone. And when I hung up, and mind you, I was in Christ, I grew up in church and everything. When I hung the phone up, I heard the voice of the Lord so clear tell me, get up from here. Everything that has been said about you is not who you are. You are who I say you are. And of course, it wasn't a get up geographically. It was a get up spiritually from where you've allowed yourself to be. Yeah. And from that moment on, it was a process. I had to unteach myself or unlearn how to allow people to treat me. And that was a very uncomfortable thing. Because like Coach P said, you have to cut some people off. You have to even... It goes so even minute as knowing how to accept a compliment. It was little things, you know, my parents always told me I was beautiful, this and that. But you know, when you're young and people say things to you, what they say is more valid than what your parents are saying. If they say I'm ugly, then I'm ugly. If they say my hair is too big, then it's too big. If they say, you know, my hair's not straight enough, it's not straight enough. That's how I felt. And so after that conversation, when the Lord stepped in and said, you're not going to do this again. You need to get up from here. I started my self journey, my yes. And what I figured out, even as I'm talking to you guys, is that yes is so layered, because I had to continue to say yes. When I met my boyfriend, who became my husband, I had to still figure out, and I'm still figuring out how to hold on to myself and my autonomy, right, within my marriage. So I still had to say yes to myself after I got married, and not just give everything to him, because I wouldn't have nothing left for myself. But I had to learn that. When I had kids, I had to figure out, okay, I'm a mommy, I'm giving, I'm pouring, I'm praying, I'm interceding, I'm doing all this, I'm making sure these little human beings are okay, but where are you? So that's another layer of yes that I have to come to. Ministry. You get to the church, you need to usher, you need to do opening prayer. You doing opening script, girl, you speaking today. Oh, you doing a praise dance. Okay, but where's me in all of that?
All of that.
So my yes never stopped. I have to keep saying yes. So that was where my yes began. My yes began when I was 17, and the Lord had to tell me, we can't do this no more. because you're not going to fulfill your destiny doing this.
Hmm.
So that's where it began for me.
I love it.
Mm.
Great. Miss Tanya.
Woo, y'all talking real good. Let me tell you, I got so much stuff flowing through my head. Lord help me streamline it. Let me tell you. So, for me, like Shatori said, there are layers.
Mhm.
And throughout life, when you think that you're saying yes as you know yes where you are. And the more
Right.
you grow, the more you develop, and God begins to show you more, and you understand more, you become more aware. That
Mhm.
yes continues the way you understand yes then. So it's not just yes. It's not a
Yeah.
one size fits all situation.
That's
Hmm.
it.
Right.
It's a one size fits you as you understand you.
Cool.
And so as you grow and as you stretch, and God shows you more, that yes continues, because yes to you is yes to God, and then there's no end to God. There could
Yeah.
never be an end to you. So yes has to be infinite, right? And so we have to continue to say yes, because God will never give a prepared thing to an unprepared person. And
Come
so
on.
what God prepared for you, He's going to give it to you where you are, the way you understand it, the way you won't say no. He has to give it to you in bite-sized pieces, the way you'll process and receive it and say yes. If He give us the whole yes, we're going to say no because we haven't been prepared for
Hmm.
that level of yes.
Mm.
And so, yes, we're going to go through yes, as we know, yes. But let me not digress.
Yeah.
So, for me, I had to really sit and think, because yes, for me, probably in my younger 20s or so, when I really began to understand, there's things you want to do. You don't have to bend to everybody. When I started going through that, I thought I was saying yes, and I was, but I was more so saying no, because I would always bend to make sure everyone else had what they needed.
Mhm.
So my yes became making sure you had what you needed, and then over time I realized I was saying no to me more often.
Hmm.
I was saying yes to me, right? But it came out through complaints. That's how I knew there's something you don't like about this, love about this, because the complaints became real strong.
Hmm.
Later on in life, I learned that complaints are actually a growth signal. That every time you complain, a complaint comes because it's trying to show you you're ready for more, you know more, you've outgrown a situation or an experience, or you're beyond what your environment can teach you.
Come
And
on.
so once I began to really accept all of these things, I began to see yes a little bit differently. So I said, how do you know? I began to ask myself questions, because every question comes with an answer. Sometimes we don't think so, because we try to answer the question, allowing the answers to be sent. So I said, ask the question, how do you know, Tanya, that you're saying yes and you mean it this time?
Mhm.
How are you convinced?
Hmm.
Because there has to be a trail of proof. If there's no proof, it just becomes words. So I said, how do you know you mean it this time? It's real this time. So you have to be convinced. Other people can't convince you.
That's
And
it.
so it has to be real to you. And God began to show me the difference between understanding something intellectually and when you actually get it. I can tell I can say, somebody can say love yourself, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and do things as you know love, and say, I love you, treat yourself right today, do affirmations, write things down, and those are good. But they're just not good alone, and they're not effective without the understanding.
Hmm.
Come on now.
I understand what yes actually means. So he began to show me, when you understand something just intellectually because somebody said it, or the way it was taught to you all of your life, you're going to do it as you know it. We got to do what we know. That's normal. But when you get it, when you actually get it, I understood. Oh, I'm looking for something that's only produced out of me.
Hmm.
I have to agree, not search outside of myself. Agree, because
Yes.
when God poured Himself into me, it was there all along. So I had to learn how to agree with what was inside of me, so that I could produce it outward, and then everybody else. could partake in this love. So I had to learn that I was my own love supply. That took some time, but for everyone watching where you are, listen, my yes might not look like your yes. It may look like someone's above you, behind you, but you in a race in a lane all by yourself. And you have to understand, you have to be grateful and so thankful that you said yes in the first place, because I will begin to put everything beyond being willing. And I began to show me that's the first manifestation. You have to be interested in you. You have to be interested in knowing more. So there's no interest, there's no next step.
So let's rewind, because that's a good place and a good space to really go a little bit deeper into loving herself. How, as a young woman, my first thought is, I used to teach, and I used to have young adults who didn't even like themselves. And to pour out, I had to teach them to like themselves before I can even teach them what I was trying to teach them to go out and do this trade. You know what I mean? And to be confident in that thing. So what does loving herself take and look like? Because that's the next portion of the book.
Yes.
Is she said yes, loving herself. Am I doing things that I even like that I do? Saying things that I even like that I say? What does loving herself look like?
Yeah. So one of the first things that you've got to understand is there are principles and there are practices. Okay. You got to live your life based upon principles that God set in place that governs our success. Sometimes we get caught in practices.
Yeah.
We practice whatever we taught. We practice doing things that other people thought were effective. There's a lot of practices. Practices change daily. Our principle never changes. So if you live your life based upon practices, you're going to be kind of all over the place unless your practices are backed by principles. You know what I'm saying? They got to be backed by principles. So one of the first things I began to really open myself up to, or what are some of the principles of living, because that is the true way to live. And God gave me replace or repeat. The principle of replace or repeat.
I love it. Come on, break it on down. Come on, coach. Come on, life coach.
And so you have to understand that if you don't understand what your belief is, you don't understand you at all. You don't understand the decisions you make from day to day. You don't understand, what really causes you to think certain things. You're just all over the place,
just blowing. Just not even no roots, just all over the place.
Because it's what do I believe? What do I believe? And a lot of people really don't know. They're searching for something, but they don't understand what they're really looking for. They want to know who they are, but they don't understand what it really takes to really we're looking for this thing that's outside of ourselves. We're looking for something that we think is separate from us. That is the most belittling thing, I think, to God, that you think that it is something outside of the power that He placed in the thing He gave priority to.
Come on.
And that goes back to what Coach Pete said, as far as it was always within herself.
Listen, when you breathe breath of life, everything was we became. We say these things, but we don't understand the depth, and we don't accept the truth that really comes with that depth. Right? We don't. And when I say we, it ain't everybody, but it's always the majority. And so there's a lot more people who don't understand it. They think they do intellectually, but when you get it, you make moves differently. You don't have a problem cutting people off. See, one of the things that was the biggest thing for me was there were things I had to own. All right. So if we're talking about taking ownership, it's not about accepting the things that you did wrong. People think that taking ownership is just accepting the things that did wrong. But God said, no, when you take ownership, you get to take a new position as well. So even though they did it more, even though they hurt you worse, there's still something you must do and accept, because we want to put the blame on other people because we didn't do it as much. I didn't say it as much. You know what? I didn't do it that bad. And we try to excuse ourselves from, I don't care if it's 1%. That's huge to God.
Yeah.
For
You dismiss that 1% of what you did do. That's all God needs
Yes.
to turn your whole life around into a yes. You know, and so we think that, well, you know, I'm not going to forgive him because I don't want to give them a pass. Give them a pass, because that's really keeping you stuck. And so once I started saying to myself and being able to talk to myself like, no, Tanya, you okay, they did that, but this is what you did do, and this is what you did not do, and this is what you could have done better. And he began to open me up to being willing. Willingness changed my life. Are you willing to take a second look? Are you willing to forgive? Are you willing to take a step and tread territory that you have never treaded? Are you willing to hear from that person and hear their side that you never understood? Are you willing to write about it? Are you willing to talk about it? Are you willing? Because willingness, it opens up the very door for God to show you what he created before you were you. And so that for me, I was like, willingness over motivation. I want willingness over anything else. I just want to be willing. And for me, that was the biggest game changer, and understanding principles over practices and what a belief really was. And I'll give you this definition, and I'm like, end with this because, you know, I love to talk. So a belief, he said this. He said a belief is the details, the facts, and the data that you have collected over the course of time that have been introduced to your five senses, meaning something I heard, something I saw, something I touched, something I smelled, something. It's something that was introduced to your five senses that over time became believable to you. And see, it's not about, you know, if it was introduced to your senses. We see things every day. We hear things every day. But it becomes a part of you when it gets through your senses.
Yeah.
And so when things get through you, that's how you know you've considered it long enough, you played with it long enough, and you decided, okay, I'm going to believe in this because it keeps happening. Whether it was good or bad, if they kept hitting you, that became believable to you. If they kept loving on you and helping you win, that became believable to you. So I would ask everybody, like, what are the facts, the details, and the data you collected over time that were introduced to your five senses that helped you shape what you understand yes is and self-love?
Oh, I love it.
Right.
I will honestly say, you know, when I was 28 years old, I came to the place that, oh, some of this stuff that's happening is my fault, you know, and that that changed the game. Like you said, it opened up, you know, a new journey for me, you know, and it helped me to see myself differently. Like, oh, you kind of not such a good person. I thought I was a good person, but then I start identifying things that I did not like, things that I would say, how I would make people feel, you know, and I was like, I don't want to be that person. And I don't want to, and at that age, I started to understand what speaking life was about, because we're not inherently taught to speak life.
Yeah.
That's not something that, unless you have a mother who has evolved like you ladies into, and not just, you know, growing up, it's all environmental. Everything is environmental. And like you said, your senses is taking it in, is digesting it, and you create this belief system. But as you grow and you take accountability and ownership, you discover that I can get free from this. I caused some of this. I invited a lot of this.
Yes.
So, and I think that's the first phase to loving yourself. Now I can honestly say, I like me.
Come
I
on.
like who I am. I like where I'm going. And I love that God has, you know, came in and showed me those ugly places and those nasty spaces that dwell within me. So it all goes back to, am I going to allow God to come in and do what he got to do? I discovered at this age, I just lead a guiding to God.
Yeah.
He is God, and he is God alone. And I enjoy him doing that because it keeps me safe. It keeps me right. So, you know, so loving herself.
Yes. And definitely liking yourself again is so important, because when I start, anything or a conversation with friends, the first step is to accept that it's you.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you accept that it's you, what do you do with that? Okay. You forgive yourself. You ignore some red flags. You said some things. You use your tongue as a steak knife and not a butter knife. I was mean. I wasn't likable. I wasn't lovable, forgivable. I was none of those things. But I had that under the umbrella, under the impression of I'm confident. I thought that was self-love. Really, I didn't really care about self-love. I cared about being confident. I'm confident. But I was bringing other people down in this confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I am, loving and liking, I like this chick, and it's not for anyone else to like me, but I love the responses of me just living. And people are like, man, like people take my gems or take just my daily living, and they want to, and they switch their thinking because it's a thought thing. I don't put any energy into things I can't control, because that's not for me. Like you said, leave the God to God, and that's not for me.
Right.
If I can't move you, I don't try to move you. I'm moving me.
Yeah.
And I like being alone with me. That's another way to find if you like yourself. I'm okay.
Girl, I think I'm enjoying it a little too much.
Single life is a whole different. I didn't know how dope I was being single. You think, most people think, and a lot of people, and I try to, talk to the single people, they want to be unsingle. I'm choosing to be single, because when I choose and give my rose to someone, that's going to be a dope choice. Because you got to be on the level with me. Yeah. I got to like you throughout the days and the weeks. As much as I like me. And that's a tall order. That's tall.
I love it. So how long has this journey or this process of writing this book taken you, ladies?
Well, we started July. Was it July? We started July.
Yeah, I think it was
July. Yeah.
So what does that process look like? And who was the one that's like, let's go. We got to get this done. Come on, ladies. Come on.
Ebony.
Right.
Woo, Ebony.
Okay.
Is fire. I just love her. But out of you four, who was that?
I would probably say we all was writing on our own in the background. Okay. There was no like super push as if no one was getting it done. This is actually my third collaboration. I led 2 projects prior to this. And so for me, this topic was kind of right in my space of what the last collaboration was. So I was ready, but I had a lot else going on in the background, so I didn't start right away. But once I started, it's just like God, he told me what to say and what to hit. Like I didn't really have to sit and think about what we're gonna write about. I just said, God, what do you want these women to know?
Yes.
Because I can tell them many things. What do you want them to know? And that question kind of opened me up to what has been written so far. And I think we got another round of writing coming up soon. I don't think that it's done yet. I think we still got to go through a phase of editing or something like that. So I see you, Ebony. and so I just been, enjoying the writing, because it's something that's hard for a lot of people to do, but it's like it's freedom. You know what I mean? It's freedom in it when you can finally tell your story and not be ashamed. Finally tell your story and actually know it's done all it can for me. I needed to do something for you now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's more powerful in your hands now. Me holding on to it, I'm as powerful as I can become. I need you to take this baton and run with it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm anxious in a good way to get it into the hands of somebody else, because it's done for me what it needed to do.
Excellent. Excellent. So, with this project, what are you guys hoping that this lead to?
Healing. I know for me, with my story and everything, I want women to know, regardless of, if they're married, if they're single, if they have kids, if they don't have kids, that healing is possible. Yes, you can forgive yourself as well as those others, so that you won't have to continue to carry that, because it's not doing you any good. It's making you carrying those hurts and traumas and everything that other people did for you. And even you're not even forgiving yourself for what you did. It's not going to do anything but bring you down. So, with my story and, hopefully with, the other ladies' stories, healing to be done, and especially self-love, because you got to heal first before you can start to love yourself.
Definitely.
So that's what I'm looking for healing, and for God to just do his thing, because he did it for me.
All right. How beautiful. Miss Shatori, take us into happiness and how we're taking that to the next level.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, that's how are we moving from, saying yes, learning to love yourself, and happiness being your next level. What does that look like? How are we going to achieve that throughout this journey of, our life, period?
I think that I don't want to speak for the panel, but I do want to say the way that I grew up, the women that looked like me, submitting, being vulnerable, even being humble, really was not even a thing. So that was something that I had to learn in my relationship with God. And I understand now that being humble between me and him, and being vulnerable, it allows me to graduate from where I am to the next level. Because there was even a time where the Lord would tell me something like, Tori, you didn't have to tell that lady that. And I would be like, listen, God, like, she shouldn't have popped off. Like, she shouldn't have said X, Y, Z. So why she come at me if she didn't want me to tell her the truth? And it was like, until I got to the place where I was willing to say, you know what, God, you're right. Let me humble myself. Teach me what I should have did. Tell me what to do for the next time that I get tested so I can pass it. I had to come to that place in my spirit and in my heart to be okay, to fully submit and be vulnerable and say, you know what, God, like, I'm feeling rowdy. I need you to help me. I'm feeling like Nuck if you buck. Like, I need you to, and this is how I talk to God,
Hey,
because he already knows.
Yes.
He already knows. And I'm just like, God, whatever the situation might be, vulnerability is what has taken me from where I was struggling with to where I needed to be. And once I understood that, even now, always doing the self-check, Lord, okay, what's in my heart? I need you to show me, and I'm ready. I'll be ready for whatever the response is. If you say I'm to this or to that, help me to fix it. And by doing that, just in the last couple of months, it's just opened up this thing where God can be like, hey, I need you to love on sister so-and-so a little bit more. I need you to slow down. I need you to be a little humble. So-and-so's going to come to you, preparing me for certain things. They might say something a little raggedy, but I need you to be ready. And that just even, I'll give you another example. Just even trying to fit into a certain mold and being humble enough when the Lord says, baby, that ain't you. But I wanted to be this. I wanted to get this bachelor's degree. I wanted to get this master's degree. I wanted to get my doctorate so I can show everybody how intelligent I was. But that caused me to be depressed. But that ain't who I made you to be, though. Where I'm taking you, you don't need that. He had to tell me that. And it was like, I wasn't going to like myself unless I got to do certain things that made me feel validated and that made me feel good. And so now with being happy, it's like I had to say yes to who he said I was, and not who I thought I should have been. Because I thought I wasn't no good without a degree.
That's back to the agreement, Miss Tanya.
certain
Huh?
things. And so,
I
you know,
know
being
I'm
humble.
saying it's back to agreement, back into agreement with God
Yes.
and yourself. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. So being humble enough to just align myself with what the Lord wanted for me made me be happier.
Mhm.
That was the road to happiness. Stop trying to be something that you think you should be, and just ask me who you are. Seek me in your word. When you'll find yourself in my word. And once you get into my word and you seek me and you ask me, baby, listen, ain't no stopping it. And it's been a smile on my face since then. But I had to let go of who I thought I should have been.
That's it.
That's good.
I absolutely love it because, you know, being children, we grow up and we think, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. And we have all these things that's, you know, overtaking our thought process. And we're not realizing that we have gifts that we have to fully and effectively operate in. And
Right.
until your heart, your mind, and everything lines up with that gift that God has placed in you, you
Mhm.
are malfunctioning pretty much.
Right.
But knowing that we're fully equipped on the inside already when we're born with what he has for us, I just think that's so amazing. And as parents, and we have to identify the gifts in our children and start cultivating them early. And just like
Mhm.
Miss Fluffy Girl said, you know, her people had to do that for her, help her cultivate her environment and make it good and healthy. And that's why we need beautiful spirits around us.
Mhm.
People like the Ebony D's and, you know, Miss Tanya, Shatori, Coach P, and Tangi around you so that they can elevate you and encourage you and take you to the next level. I highly encourage anybody, if someone is around you discouraging you and every idea and thought that you have, they're tearing it down and throwing it away and saying you can never move. Get
Come on.
away from them.
Yep.
Cut them
Right.
off. Separate.
Cold turkey.
Run.
Mhm.
So
That's
saying
good.
all this to say, ladies, where are we with the project? When is the projected completion date? And how can people get in touch with you, ladies? And we can go in any order.
Well, the book will be announced soon,
Okay.
not too soon. We're still working on editing, so we're just putting it out there about the self-love.
Okay.
And definitely, I just want everyone, you know, to know it's possible. It's possible to have joy and to become a dope CEO of your life. If I can do it, I promise you can. You can always connect with me on Fluffy Girl Joy everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, just to connect and get some of that daily walk and talk joy. And the mission is joy, everyone. The mission is joy, but you got to work for it. You got to work on it minute by minute.
Amen.
Okay, so I guess I'll jump in. Everybody's smiling. Right, who's gonna go next? So, like she said, we're still working on, you know, editing. I believe toward the end of the year, everyone will know a little bit more of you know, officially when the book is going to be released. But as far as connecting, I'm going to be honest. I am an Instagram girl. That's my jam. Facebook and Chance, you know, we trying over here. But you can find me on Instagram at the Dope Life Coach. Dope is an acronym for Dreaming on Purpose every day. And so, again, that's the Dope Life Coach. I focus on leading women who desire more than motherhood, mothers who desire more than motherhood, eliminate mom guilt, help them to really embrace their lost dreams again. And we offer tools to help build themselves and their dream with the understanding that the dream doesn't happen outside of you. It is produced out of you. And so it's not something that's separate from you. I think that's really something that people really, really have a hard time with. I'm building this business, I'm doing this, and it's just you. And it's just you. So that is who I am, and that is what I do, and that is where you can find me.
All right, so you can find me on Instagram at Sweet Jackson. That is my personal page. You can also find my business page at Magnificent Soaps. where I make bath body hair care products for you guys, so we can get them curls popping, and that skin glowing, of course. I am taking a short little sabbatical to do some revision, to hear from the Lord, see what he has to say, what my next pivots are as far as the business. But the business is not just business, it's ministry. Everything is consecrated over every product. When you washing with that soap, listen, I have been praying over it, that you would just get the peace of God, and that the Lord would heal you and do all these amazing things for you and with you and all that good stuff. I can go on a tangent about that, but it's not just soap, it's not just hair stuff, it's ministry, so that people can feel empowered and that they can get what they need to get from the Lord through my intercession. Again, I'm taking a little break, but you could still check me out over there to get all the updates you need. Sweet Jackson personal Instagram, Magnificent Soaps is my business Instagram.
Before we move on, so I kind of want to hit on, you compared it to the bathings of Esther, and and when I saw that, I was thinking, she felt good, she looked good, she was confident, and that gave her the confidence to go before her king and put the request in, in all humility, but yet authority in her position. And it just, the soaps, I was like, wow, they do so much for us as women, and especially when we're saturated in it. And it just gives us what we need, that little extra boost, that extra confidence, that extra security when we're around people and we're in their presence. So I just thought that was a beautiful comparison.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I can also be found on Instagram as well. I'm on Facebook, but I do most of my stuff on Instagram. So I'm with Tanya on this one when it comes to Instagram. But my URL on Instagram is Coach Porsche _. And if you don't know how to spell it, my name is PORSCHE _. And if anyone has like any questions or anything that they want to send me via email, my email is info@coachingwithp.life. So again, that's info@coachingwithp.life.
I do have one thing to add. I do have a Facebook page for my business, is Magnificent Soaps, but I also have a group called the Inspired Entrepreneur VIP. Okay. It's for women of color. And the purpose is to network, to encourage, to empower, to share what we do. If I'm ever visiting Atlanta and I need to hit up somebody for, realtor, if I want to buy something, hey, I'm going to go to this group and be like, hey, I got any ladies in Atlanta, I'm trying to come out, show me around, give me, you know what I mean? So we want to do some networking. If you guys want to find my group, or if you want me to invite you, all of you ladies are more than welcome to join us. We're a great group of women, all women of color. I think we need it the most. We need each other. We need encouragement. We need empowerment. And so that's what the group is all about. And that's on Facebook.
Excellent. Excellent. So before we get off here, question of the day. You see a lady out and about with a wardrobe malfunction. Do you say something or not?
Oh, 100%. And I'll help her. I'm helping you, sis. I'm helping you.
Love it. Love it. I mean,
absolutely.
Nice.
I'll put my mask up, but I got you, sis.
Right.
I got you.
I always say, like, loving somebody is telling them the truth. And although you might be a perfect stranger, but listen, I don't want you out here with your skirt tucked in your underwear walking around, sis. Like, because my thing is, like, if that was me, by the time I figured out that all my business was showing, I'm thinking about all them women that walk past me,
didn't help me,
just watching me out here looking crazy. And I'm like, ain't none of y'all said nothing. So I'm like, no, we fit to help you. We're going to do all we can to get you put together.
I absolutely love it. And I asked that question because oftentimes it happens. It happens. Yeah. And sometimes people will say nothing, but those who do, I found most of the time, they possess the Spirit of God. Most of the time.
Amen.
And they want you to be right. And it's not just wardrobe is inside and it's out. And that's in essence what we do and why we say the things we say, because we want to encourage and empower. And we don't want you to have a heart malfunctioning like a wardrobe malfunction. That's just on the outside. We want to fix the inside. We want to help you.
I want to jump in and say, I would say, we think of wardrobe malfunction now, the skirt tucked in somewhere or something's falling off. Absolutely, but malfunctions can be almost, anything. And I think for me, what to do, I still want to be led in what to do. So sometimes we do things because they're natural to do, and that's fine. And then there are those moments where God may say, put some money in our hand, or He may say, just pray with her, talk with her. I don't know, but I'm trying to get out of the habit of just doing things.
Yes.
And did God say, approach her? Because in this day and age, we don't know who people are. And there are things in the world where it could be a setup for you to approach someone, and here comes somebody else to divert your attention. So I'm practicing being led in all things.
Oh, definitely.
And not just doing things to God. Now, if God says, you'll feel it in your heart. You'll feel a pull. Say, it ain't gonna be something you have to guess about. But I'm also training myself to, if God said, don't approach them. You got the kids. This don't feel right about this situation. I know you want to help her, but there may be somebody in the corner watching. So in all things, I'm practicing myself to be led and not just rushing and being anxious to do things because my humanness think that that's what I'm supposed to do.
That's wise. That's very wise, and definitely apply wisdom in all situations. Apply wisdom and being led by God, definitely. But I just ask that.
Don't ignore the pulling though. If He say go,
that's it. Pull is serious. You're not going to be able to ignore it.
Help her.
You won't be. You can walk away and it's going to pull you right back.
Yeah, you'll know.
Definitely. Well, ladies, this has been a true blessing. Each and every one of you ladies are blessed beyond measure. I love that you are activating and utilizing your gifts and giving back to the world the way that God intended. So I pray that this journey is bigger than you ever imagined. And receive all the joy, the blessings, the love from people. When they want to bless you, they're going to bless you guys. They are going to bless you guys, and your book's going to be number one. So I'm absolutely loving it. She said yes.
Thank you.
This is it.
We take it.
Yes, girl, you can have it.
Going out there, take it. We grasp it.
I love it. I love the collaboration. Ebony, hats off to you. We're grateful. Yes. Keep doing this, and I would love to see more of this. More of this from sisters everywhere, everywhere, collaborating and esteeming each other, helpers one to another for sure. All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
You are welcome. You guys have a wonderful and blessed night. Thank you guys for all your comments and joining us here on Open Vibes. The book is entitled, once again, She Said Yes, Loving Herself and Taking Happiness to the Next Level. And that's what we're going to do moving forward. Have a blessed night.